Hi everybody, welcome to this video titled Configuring Microsoft Outlook with Business Central. My name is Craig Kreskis and I'm a Partner Solution Architect at Microsoft, and I want to say thank you for being a part of this video and being a part of the Business Central pre-sales workshop. This is a video that is designed to help guide you through how to configure Outlook so that when you get ready to do the highlighted demo of quote to cash or order to cash, all within Outlook, you have an environment set up and running. Now, the first step in this series or in this video is going to be how do you go and get the Outlook add-in. Then we're going to go ahead and open up Microsoft Outlook. You'll sign into the sample email for the first time. You'll also, I've got an exercise for you to create your own sample email. And then I like to connect the desktop experience of Outlook. Now, just a little bit of a teaser, not captured here. There's a little bonus part of the video on how Copilot and Outlook can integrate here in your demo. So pay attention and stay tuned on that video, or in this video. So we'll start by opening up Business Central, and I tend to just do Alt-Q. That invokes the global search, and then I type in Outlook add-in, and I get the Outlook add-in. From there, just follow the prompts on your screen. The sample email message that will be sent is by default enabled. I click on finish, and then I'll navigate from Business Central using the application switcher at the top left. I'll open up Outlook in a new tab, and so I'm in Outlook Web Access. For me, one of the things I begin to do is turn on the trust or show block content. For some reason in these demo environments, it doesn't show it entirely, and so you can see some of these graphics where my mouse is hovering is blocked. As soon as I hit trust, you just have a nicer experience. From here, I'll click on the apps, choose Business Central, and select Contact Insights. Now, you should get an error message for the first time if you're just configuring this, just like I have on the right side. And that's because the pop-up blockers by default don't recognize Business Central. So what I end up doing is making sure I go into my profile settings inside of Chrome or Chrome Edge and make sure that I allow Business Central.dynamics available and as part of the pop-up and redirect. You can go back into Business Central, go ahead and hit the try again, select allow. Now that should refresh the add-in and you should be all set. So again, part of these videos, I just want to make sure you know how to work and have this up and running. The Outlook add-in itself is pretty straightforward. You can drill in and see live information from Business Central here inside of Outlook. Now I'll talk about, as I mentioned, changing this experience from the web access to the Outlook desktop. But for now, I just want to point out a couple of things. You can click on the information icon, and this will give me information about the customer. So again, within a small amount of real estate, you can see I have a lot of information, and I can expand and collapse all of the information here where my mouse is hovering. From here, I can go ahead and create a new document. So you can see the menu options from the ellipsis is I can go ahead and create a sales quote. Now, one of the things that's really, really powerful, and I want to make sure that you highlight as a presenter, is that Outlook and Business Central are so tightly integrated that you can see that Outlook is recognizing the body of the email, and I'll scroll down, but it sees that in that sample email, there's text that says, give me 7 chairs and 2 tables. So it is suggesting that I bring that here on the line items. Again, really, really powerful. I'll select OK. And now I have a quote. I have the items, and I have a quote that ends in 1003. I can back that out and then go ahead and open up the tile, and you can see that same quote as part of my ongoing sales quotes. Now, to prove that out, for me, I always show in the demonstrations, and I go and open up Business Central. So go into Business Central, and you notice in the cursor at the bottom left corner, I have sales quotes, and there you see I have sales quote 1003, just like we added from Outlook. right? So I've got this seamless experience, a seamless integration. From here, let's go ahead and talk about the exercise I mentioned to you. When I do a live workshop, I want you to maybe think about creating your own sample email. And the first things I do is I create a new customer. Then when I create that new customer, and I'll show this to you in the video, I'll enter a name and an email address. I use my work email address because that's what's going to be triggered off of the Outlook integration. And then from my work email, I will create a new email asking for certain items in inventory. And I gave you a list of some of the items in case you're not familiar with the inventory inside of Business Central. And then I send the email to that admin user that I'm using in my demo. So I have set up a demo account using the CDX demo environment. If you're not familiar on how that works, I encourage you to participate or watch the video I have set up for creating trials. And then from an in private or incognito browser, I'll open up that inbox, much like you just saw, and I'll select the add-in, and then you should see, well, let's go ahead and take a look what you'll see. As I mentioned, here I am inside of Business Central. I'll create a new customer. It doesn't matter if you do a B2B or B2C. And I create the customer. It's called Microsoft. And then I enter in an email address. You don't have to, for this purpose, do anything more than that. But the key in getting Outlook and Business Central to talk together is making sure that you have in the contact the email address configured. From here, I'll create a new email. And so here you can see I have a new email. It's going to go to that admin user. And I made it very simple. Can you send me a sales quote? I even went so far as to setting up an attachment. So that'll open up. I just created a picture of a desk and a chair. But you can use the Outlook add-in, and this document, the attachment, will follow through the same process of the document processing. From there, I'll just open up the new email. So you could see here's that email I sent to my admin user. It's coming from myself at my work address. Here's the attachment. And then I could just use the contact insights. And I'm going to create a new quote. And then again, notice, right? It sees these items that I have in the body of the email, the Athens desk and the Berlin desk. So I go ahead and select that. And if I want, I can attach the files, and it's going to grab the file right from that email. I'll hit save, hit OK, close out the attachment. Now, watch what happens when I open up Business Central. You'll see here I've got that ongoing sales quote, and there's that quote I just created along with the attachment from the email. So very powerful demo. I really encourage you to not leverage just the sample email that comes from Business Central, but for you to craft a more of a creative, maybe a more professional email that you send back and forth to your demo users. Now, I mentioned earlier, Outlook Web Access is fine, but you really get a little more flexibility. And I think most audiences will recognize that obviously they're using the desktop experience of Outlook. So what I do is I'll come into my file and I'll do account settings, and I'm going to add that demo user, this admin user, and hit done. You may have to refresh this experience by closing Outlook and then reopening. And then I've collapsed it, but down at the bottom of your folder navigation, you should have that demo user if you've added it according to how I just showed you. And then right click on the folder, hit add to favorites, and you will see that I have the inbox available to me right here. So here you can see I've got some emails I sent out to my demo user. So that's how you go ahead and create and integrate and connect Business Central with Outlook. And I showed you how to get the Outlook add-in, open up Outlook, make sure you have the pop-up blockers, trusting Business Central. We created a sample email and connected desktop experience. Now remember, I had a teaser, and that was, I wanted to show you also how you can leverage Outlook using Copilot and Business Central. So this is out, this is in preview, but if you go into Business Central And let's say we go into a sales quote, and I'm going to choose my customer, and I select OK. On the line items, you have Copilot, and it says suggest sales line items. What this does is it brings up Copilot and it says, hey, what do you want to add to suggest to the sales line items? But if I go back to that email and I open up Outlook, hit Control A and Control C, I copy it and I come back into Business Central and I paste that in. That email that I have, so you can see here, it says, can you provide us a quote with the items? And in the items, they're just in text form, 2 tables, 6 chairs, and 2 lamps. When I hit generate, look what it does, and I hit insert. It brings that into Business Central. So that's just bonus content that I encourage you to explore and use. One of the things I want to make sure is that this video is a companion to the Partner Sales Demo Playbook. If you want to see how I demonstrate quote to cash or the bookkeeper, those are the 2 scenarios that will incorporate Outlook into your demos. Those are ones I would recommend you review. I want to say thank you so much for your time and attendance. My name is Craig, and I will look forward to seeing you again on a video real soon.